Hi, you guys. I had a new healing journey this week that I wanted to share with you because there were so many aha moments and so many, I guess aha moments is the best way to describe it. So let me just get into it. I saw a post, I was on Facebook, as we all are, social media, and I saw a post from a girl that I grew up with, played soccer with, really knew her from 4th grade to 12th grade, somebody who is really in my heart. And she posted a picture of our hometown and like all the summer festivals that are going on, the street music and stuff like that. And she said, missing my home. And immediately my reaction was, oh my God, let's go down memory lane. Let's think about, being in Northport on the dock, listening to music, hanging out with your friends, smoking cigarettes under the gazebo, all that stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, what happened was I heard this little voice in my head go, that's not your home. And it was like, what? And I just started to unravel, not in an emotional way, not in a triggered way, but just in a self-discovery way. If I was there right now, what would life be like? If I was in Northport and still considering that home, who would I be? Would I even want to be there? Would I still be miserable? What's my connection right now? Because that voice was clear and it was loud. That is not my home. So why am I still holding on to it? This is my home. This is my life. This is what I love. I love who I am right now. So I really had this breakthrough moment, but that's not where it ended, right? That's just where it began. So then this week I started really putting myself out there, trying to get social media working for me. I mean, literally, it's only been 2-3 days. This is day 3, I believe. But with the hopes and with the belief that I can do this, that I can pull off an online business or just, be able to support myself through this work, which was something that I was scared to do for a really long time. And that fear was coming up, right? And so it's coming up, and I kept thinking to myself, am I scared of, the people in my life now that I've met in Arizona and, the life that I had where I ignored who I was? And it was like, no, I'm not scared of the soccer moms and, that arena of life. So it was like, okay, am I scared of the witch hunt? Am I scared of, the Christians that are going to come after me when I put all of my metaphysical, psychic beliefs out there? And then, that was a hard no. The first time I was attacked by a religious group, I was 5 years old. So I've been battling that for a long time. So that was almost a chuckle on how much of a hard no that was. And then I got on the phone with my sister yesterday morning. And my sister is actually my business coach. And I believe that as a coach, you also need to have a coach. And I'll put her information out there on social media. Her name is Cheryl Guz, and you can find her on LinkedIn. But she's my business coach. And so we were having this conversation about my fear and putting myself out there and essentially doing these videos and commercializing myself. I don't know how to say that. But so she was like, well, what is it? What is it? And she was asking a series of great questions that I can't think of at the moment. But when she was asking these questions, the only thing that was coming up in my mind, and it wasn't even words, right? Because sometimes you can't hear past your socialized conditioning. You can't hear past the noise when you're trying to find your voice. So I realized when I'm searching for answers in my own emotions and what is really affecting me, when I'm present, it's not the voice that I heard that first time, the day before when it said, that's not your home. That comes spontaneously, and I just have learned at this point to trust that. But when I'm searching for it, it comes visually. So I said to my sister, this is really strange because the only thing that's coming to my mind is a picture of Amy. And ironically, it was her birthday, and I forgot to say happy birthday, Amy. And I was like, that makes no sense because we've been friends for 40 years. Of course she makes fun of me, but she makes fun of me and then because I'm ridiculous. And then she's like, okay, so give me advice. Tell me about this. So she's very accepting of who I am. We just have a banter. So it was really strange that her face was coming up, was the thing that my emotions were attaching to. And so my sister said, well, maybe she's just a representation of Northport. Maybe she's just a representation of those foundational years where we were all taught, especially being female, we had to people please. We had to fit in. We had to just be normal, be part of the crowd. We couldn't stand out, so all of that socialized conditioning that comes from, it comes from our parents sometimes, but it came from our parents because it came from the TV, because it came from their political views, because it came from some form of, this is who you are, this is what we're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to eat, this is what's good for you. So self-discovery wasn't part of our generation. It was not part of Generation X. It wasn't part of the boomers. I don't really know about my grandmother's generation if self-discovery was in there, but once we started this mass communication, we lost our own voices. We lost the ability to discover ourselves. And so when we're going through the healing process, the first thing we have to do is rip away the layers of everyone else's voice, the things that tell you you're not good enough, the things that tell you you're doing it wrong. All of that you were not born with. Those are not conditions of your brain. It is voices that other people gave you, and that's where we start. We start unraveling all those other voices, and that's a long journey within itself. But what you get to is those simple moments where you're looking at something on Facebook and it triggers your own voice, and your voice tells you that's not your home anymore, and that's okay. Be happy where you are, be present where you are now. But again, it continued, right? It continued with my fear and fear of being on social media. It continued with me recognizing, that codependency string that we all have about people pleasing, and I have been working on that for a really long time. It continued then through this morning. And this is really where it got big and an aha moment for me. Because I kept thinking, I'm not scared of the people who were making fun of me. Oh, this is how it actually happened. I had posted the videos on TikTok, and I didn't want to go and look. I didn't want to see how it was doing, if it went viral, if there were people hating it, if somebody was, giving me negative comments. But I asked myself, am I really scared of that? I'm almost like, yeah, bring on the negative comments, because that I can handle. I'm trained in that. I'm trained in how to stand up for myself. I'm trained in how to fight. So what was really uncomfortable? What was the really scary part? And the really scary part, what I discovered, is silence. And I know I've read a million books and a million Brené Brown and self-help and psychic, metaphysical, blah, 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 blah. But it was the silence, that uncomfortable silence of no one responding, that scared the shit out of me. And when I looked, nobody really responded. And was it okay? It was fucking okay. Am I gonna stop? I'm not gonna stop. But it wasn't until I actually recognized the real fear, and I had to break through layers, and I had to trust my inner voice. But first I had to find my inner voice. And whether I understood what it was saying or not, I had to trust it, and I had to ask it, what do you mean? What is it exactly? And keep exploring it, and then face my fear. So it's not just as simple as getting rid of the conditioned voices, getting rid of the negativity. It goes and goes and goes, and it's a constant. And once you make the decision, I'm ready, I'm here to heal, it shows up every day in the smallest things. And it keeps moving, and it gets you past, and you go above and beyond those humps, and it feels fucking wonderful. It feels wonderful to actually say, holy shit, I'm scared of silence. I'm scared that I'm making this video right now, rushing before I have to leave to go to work, and no one's gonna fucking watch it. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. And me saying that isn't me giving fear power. It is actually doing the opposite. It is taking power away from the fear. I know there's this whole, school of thought. You got to speak positive, speak what you want out in the air. But there's also that belief system. And until you believe it, it doesn't matter what you say. You can say it over and over again, and that will help you start believing it. But if you don't identify those blockages, those things that are in your way, how are you going to get around them? How are you going to face them? So me saying, holy fuck, that is scary, I don't want to do it, is actually getting over it. I'm fine. I will keep doing it. Maybe no one responds. Maybe it's a dead end. I've had lots of dead ends in my life. It's not going to kill me. Oh my gosh, it's not going to kill me. There are things that have tried to take me down, and a little frickin' technology is not going to be able to do it. So what I am so excited about is all of these self-discoveries, and my job, I believe, is truly not to help you find all the little fears, but really to help you find your voice. To help you find that part inside of you that goes, that's not your home. And it's gentle, and it's real, and it's truthful. And then in that moment, so much of your outer shell, your mask, your false reality just falls apart. And what you're left with is just you and a sense of loving who you are. I know it sounds cheesy, but I promise you it is the best feeling in the world.